What's going on, everybody? This is Institutional Hunt coming with you with another video on technical analysis. This one is going to be on pivot points. This is going to be part of my basic indicator rundown for a whole stream of them. So if you see more videos that you're interested in, give them a click. But realistically speaking, pivot points are one of my favorite indicators, and there's a lot of reasons why. One, because they freaking work. Pivot points are incredibly effective. If you don't have them in your arsenal right now, or you're just starting out in trading, lucky you, because this is something that you're definitely going to want to use. So first and foremost, what are pivot points? Pivot points are basically a tool for determining support and resistance. They're good for forecasting potential direction and where things might end up or where they will go. And they're calculated pretty simplistically. It's high, low, close, divided by 3. There are multiple levels on pivot points. There's going to be the high level, there's going to be support and resistance 1, support and resistance 2, and then support and resistance 3, and even some programs will even give you 4, though if you're even staring at a 4 right now, then the chances are it's going to be turning around real quickly, especially if you're looking at a weekly or a monthly, but I will get into that and show you that in a second. But basically, pivot points are for identifying potential areas of support and resistance. And support and resistance is basically a psychological level that people are determined to either defend or certain that the price will not go past. So they're great places, and that is basically where you'd want to be opening a trade. If you're a buyer, you want to be opening on support, and if you're a seller, you want to open on resistance. That should be your methodology with every single trade, no matter what. And these are going to be critical in allowing you to do so. So let's go ahead and check out why you want to use them, because the big boys do, and it's going to be so incredible. Sometimes you'll see enormous orders, or you'll see enormous rejections right off of major pivot point lines, wherever there's just this huge sell-off where you can see a major, corporation or a major hedge fund or a major, fund of some sort just had this enormous order just sitting on that pivot point, and the moment it gets there, it's going to sell it, or the moment it gets there, it's going to buy it. You just see it rocket off. But also, they're just general confluence zones that consistently are effective. But realistically speaking, whenever it comes down to anything technical analysis wise, the only thing that matters is whether or not people use it, because the more people that use it, the more effective it's going to be, because technical analysis is basically study of psychology. People use moving averages. That's why moving averages work. People use pivot points. That's why pivot points work. So you want them in your arsenal because it is going to be a consistently used trading item amongst the masses. And the more you can identify what the general population is thinking, the more successful you're going to be. Also, it's going to improve your trade planning, because as you get more effective in understanding this market's gone a little too far, I want to pull back or something like that, or you're looking for that pullback so you can buy on a dip, or sell on a pullback or a retracement or something like that. That's going to really allow you to identify those levels very effectively, and correlate them with other potential indications like Fibonacci levels or psych levels, which I think are probably one of the most critical things that you can potentially do, and I'm going to do a separate video on those. But basically, now that we've kind of gotten a general idea of what they're for, I want to actually give you a live demonstration on the actual product itself, or pivot points themselves, and kind of how to use them. So let's go ahead and jump over there and take a look at that. All right, so here we are looking at looks like New Zealand Japanese yen, and actually this is a trade I am in right now, so you guys get to see that, hey, yay for you. But basically, I want to talk about the pivot points and the potential, identification of support areas and everything else. But as you'll see, this indicator right here are the actual pivot points, and you can see we've got the 2. They've got the actual main pivot point line, and then you have the resistance lines up here, and then you have the support lines that go much further down. As it starts to get to the extremes, you'll see it start to red out or green out. Generally speaking, if it starts to get into these areas, most of the time it's not going to go much further. You might see a retractment, you might see it just kind of carry on and just hang out for a little while, but realistically speaking, it's one of those things to wherever it's useful to identify what's going on. So either way, there are two pivot points that I was looking to play off of on this particular trade right here. We have the main pivot point line, which is here, and then we had the actual pivot point down here, which was a support level that it was respecting very nicely, as you can see, across here, all the way through this line. I don't know if you can see that well or effectively enough, but right through there, just bounce, all the way across. So it's respecting that line. It's interesting. I have the fundamental analysis backing up my concept for the actual short, so it's not like I'm just trading it willy-nilly either. But then we have this support line, so we know that it's there. We have a support line that you can physically see. We've got the pivot point line showing that it's respecting it, and then we have a psychological level at 73 even. So we have this nice confluence, I guess you could say, and it has been respecting and bouncing off of this line all morning and, really rejecting off of it. So I know I'm in a good spot whenever the market has just tried its damnedest to fight through it and it just didn't work. It doesn't mean that it won't reject and everything. And if it does reject, what I'd want to see for me to exit the trade is I'd want to see it come up and then come back down and touch this line and then respect it as resistance again, or respect it again as support. Because if I see it do that, then that means that some of the bulls have come in and they're now defending that line as opposed to the bears trying to push it through. So if I were to see that happen, I'd be like, okay, it's time to get out. But for right now, I'm in it to win it, and I'm thinking it's looking pretty good. So as you can see, you've got the main support line right there. You've got the you've got this resistance line right here. It didn't give me another pullback like I was hoping that it would do because I wanted to get into it a little bit higher up. But it ended up giving me this high psych level right there, connecting with everything else. And let me show you the 4-hour chart as well, because on the 4-hour chart, this psychological level, hold on. Let me zoom out and then I'll bring it over. Okay, boom. Okay, so let's bring that over right there. Okay, on the 4-hour chart, you can see there's also a support line right there. So it's not just the 1-hour chart that has the pivot point, but it also has the pivot points on the 1-hour chart. Now, I want to take a quick second to explain how I have my pivot point set up, because that is going to be relevant to this conversation, obviously. First and foremost, on the 4-hour chart, I always run monthly pivot points. So basically, it correlates the monthly pivot points, and then puts them onto the screen for you to use for your viewing pleasure. And then on the hourly chart, I do weekly pivot points. That gives me, I think it gives me the most effective snapshot of what the heck's going on in the market. And look at that go. Oh, it's so tasty. Anyway, sorry, I just had my quick little celebration. You get to watch me dance, but either way, not the point. Anyway, moving on. It gives you a broader example, and then you can zoom back down in. But as you can see, I skipped over this pivot point here a little bit, even though I kind of was interested in on the hour chart. These were the two that were the big ones, and the reason why is because they correlate with those psych levels. And you can see the market just saying, and then whenever it broke through, it was a serious breakthrough. Came back, retested it, which it did make money on my way down to here, and now we're doing it again. So everything's hunky-dory, life is good, life is glorious. If you have a question on pivot points that you don't understand or I didn't go through, I'm really trying to make this a simplistic technical analysis series. So if you have a question I didn't answer, please let me know. I would so like to answer that question for you. Very much. This is a new channel. I don't even know how many subscribers I have. I think it was like 1 last time I checked. So if you are new, you are interested in learning about foreign exchange or trading in general, my techniques are going to transcend, I guess, just the foreign exchange market, obviously, because pivot points are something that everybody uses in every market. So let me know, ask a question, leave a comment below. If you loved it, please put that like button. If you want to listen and see and get more video updates, hit that subscribe button. Every single day from 4 to 5 Central Standard Time, I do my next day planning. What that entails is I look at my economic calendar and then I say, okay, what's coming out tomorrow? What can I get in now to plan for that? What's my forecast? And then I basically say, this is what I'm going to do either tonight or tomorrow to get into some new trades. So I'm ready, raring to go at whatever god-awful time I wake up to start making trades, because it's probably going to be like 4 a.m. because who needs sleep? Anyway, thank you very much for coming to Institutional Hunt. My name's Austin NT. If you have any questions, leave them below, and I will see you in the next video.